Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the InsurTech Summit 2021. Now, we've got a very interesting panel discussion lined up now, which my dear friend Bilal Mumtaz is hosting. He is one of the founders at Sehat, and we'll hear more from him. I'll let him introduce the panel to you. But before I do that, just to bring to your knowledge that this panel discussion is something of a lot of value because it's talking about digital health insurance in the time of COVID-19. So, Bilal Mumtaz, over to you.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Welcome to the Digital Health Insurance panel at the CXO Global Forum InsurTech Summit. Today's topic will be mainly focused on the state of health insurance in the country and how digitization, whether it's through the insurance companies themselves going through the process of digitization or the advent of technology, namely through startups, how they can both actually improve the state of insurance and make treatment and care more accessible through such means. So in this panel, I have Arsalan Pasha, who's a director at UIC and also heading a reinsurance broker called Blue Shield. I have Hyder Mumtaz, who's the CEO of Augment, a telemedicine startup operating in Pakistan. I have Dr. Azfar Malik, who has now assumed the role of CEO of Hayaat.pk and has had has experience in the insurance sector in Pakistan, namely in health insurance. And I have a seasoned financial professional, Mr. Tariq, Hameed, who now serves on the board of Askari Life Insurance. How's everybody doing today?
Oh, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're doing well. Thanks for having us, Bilal.
You're very welcome. So I guess naturally, this is a chance even for me to get to know about the work that all of you do in greater detail. So the first question I'd like to ask all of you is to sort of tell us about yourself, the work you're doing in general, and the work you're doing directly with insurance companies. So I think we can start off with the eldest person in the panel, Mr. Tariq Hameed. So you can take the floor, Ji.
Thank you, Bilal. Thank you for introducing me. I'm an actuary by profession and have worked in Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Canada, and the UK. My experience is very wide, working in pensions, insurance, investments, also being involved in a number of mergers and acquisitions, been involved with change management. So pretty varied commercial experience. At the moment, I am an independent director of Askari Life Insurance. I'm also the chair of their audit committee and a member of the risk and compliance committee. I'm also on the executive committee of a non-executive directors group of the Institute of Actuaries in the UK, based in London. And very grateful to you for inviting me to this discussion. And hopefully we'll have a good exchange of ideas. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd like to sort of go in basically counterclockwise fashion. So I'd like to then ask Hyder to speak, and then Arsalan Pasha, and then Azfar Malik on just a simple introduction and the work they're doing with insurance at the moment. Hello? I guess Hyder is sponsored right now. So Arsalan Saab, you can go ahead.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I'm grateful to CXO for having me on this panel. Basically, I've been associated with the insurance sector for the last 22 years. I've started my career from Askari General Insurance Company. Then, over the period of time, I've joined UIC Insurance Company, United Insurance Company. I'm working as joint director over there. Right now, I am the part of the digitization team of UIC, which is being headed by Mr. Munir and Iqbal Saab. and we are in the process of transformation. Apart from this, I am advisor to an InsurTech called Takaful Pakistan, and I am also working as an advisor to Blue Shield Private Limited, which is basically a kind of consultancy for reinsurance purposes. And with health insurance, I've been associated for last 15 years or so. I've been the integral part of Ask Health. Ask Health was the first developed insurance program, and in Pakistan, after you know, it was being carried out with international companies, and afterwards we developed this program, and Alhamdulillah, right now we are working on digitization. Well, over to Dr. Sir.
Sure. Dr. Azfar or Hyder,
They
are you here?
both. Dr. Sir is here.
हाँ जी ठीक है डॉक्टर साहब please take the floor. Sorry, Dr. Saab, you're on mute. We can't hear you. Hello? Hyder, can you try speaking?
Yeah, can everyone hear me?
Yes, I can. And can everyone hear Hyder? So let's just like go with you because we can't really hear Dr. Azfar right now. Just briefly introduce yourself and talk about the work that you're doing with insurance companies at the moment.
Sure. So I'm currently CEO of a telehealth platform. My experience in the digital health space has come from the region. I scaled up a doctor appointments platform in the Middle East across Egypt, Jordan, Kuwait, Saudi, UAE. And that's where my first sort of experience with insurance came in. We were mainly working with TPAs, and we were helping TPAs penetrate doctors' clinics and digitize a lot of the processing effort that was happening. This was, let's call it even 3G launch in Pakistan. And then when 3G launched in Pakistan, my focus sort of changed and said, let me move back to Pakistan and see how telehealth can sort of bridge the doctor-patient interaction across the whole country. Fast forward to 2.5 years, we started working with insurance companies to cross bundle. So some of our products or some of our offerings around telehealth are bundled into insurance companies. And then because we're a tech company at the core, we've penetrated a lot of doctors' offices again. And so we're working with some insurance companies to bundle in their products into patients who are going into doctors' offices.
Thanks for the introduction. Seems like you're doing a lot of comprehensive work. Dr. Azfar, can you try speaking again?
Can you hear me now?
जी अब आवाज आ रही है. I can hear you. जी. So please just kindly introduce yourself and the work you're doing.
I was using headphones. Okay, my name is Dr. Azfar Malik. I am the co-founder and CEO of Hayaat.pk, which is a digital health startup. And I'm also the founding president of Digital Health Association Pakistan. I have more than a decade of experience in corporate health insurance. My last assignment was head of claims and provider network at Adamji Health Insurance. We managed a portfolio of more than 2 billion rupees per annum. I had also 3 years experience in Gulf at Saudi German Hospital Group, where I was the technical auditor at account receivable and health insurance business. And Saudi German Group is the largest healthcare provider in the MENA region, and with a valuation of more than $10 billion. And I was reporting directly to the president, Chairman Shobi Badarji, regarding the health insurance and account receivable business.
Right. Thank you for the introduction. I don't know if Hyder and Dr. Azfar are present, but the way I want to keep decorum is counterclockwise, starting from Mr. Tariq, Hameed, to then Hyder, to then Arsalan, and then to you. So thank you all for introducing yourself. It seems like you're doing a lot of impressive work, which brings me actually to the second question. That what are the gaps that you see right now in the digital, or actually the health insurance landscape in Pakistan, and how can digitization help solve the issues that we're currently seeing? So, to you first, Mr. Tariq.
Thank you, Bilal. I think the main issue in Pakistan, in my opinion, there are two main issues. One is that most of our health products are linked to insurance products. So, with low insurance penetration in the society, I would say very low insurance penetration in the society, it means that our health insurance products are also sort of low in terms of penetration. So I think that we have to find a way. It is not easy, given that there are overhead costs, there are underwriting issues with health insurance, is to improve the penetration in the society. The other thing which I think is of great importance is general education. People have to be made aware that such products are available, and they can sort of help manage their health systems or the health by using those products. I've seen that in other countries where insurance companies or investment companies, when it relates to investment-related products, organize seminars, teaching sessions for the general public. And from my experience, especially in Canada, it was very well attended. I mean, it was the hall used to be packed. So there was not only a desire on the part of the provider to organize and present their information. There was a strong desire among the local population to attend those sessions. So I guess the more we go into that, people are more likely to come in and listen and take advantage of the information sharing. The third most important item I feel in health related issues is data. We may not have a very strong data protection regulations in Pakistan, but this is the data age, and we need to collect the data, we need to protect the data, and last but most importantly is also to use the data. So for now, I think this is my humble contribution. We can obviously carry on the discussions later on.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tariq. So again, over to you, Hyder. I know that you've worked with insurance companies, not just in Pakistan, but in the MENA region in general. So, for the sake of clarity, I would like to sort of repeat, the question has to do with how you perceive the healthcare insurance landscape to be in Pakistan, and if there are any gaps or problems that you see, how you feel digitization can help alleviate those problems.
So when we launched Augment Care, we were looking at health insurance and how can telehealth or any type of other digitization efforts help there. Like Mr. Tariq, Hameed said that penetration is quite low in this country, and I think the focus for most companies is not sort of claims optimization or cost optimization. It's more of a focus on penetration. We see this in Turkey today as well. We see a similar sort of attitude in Egypt as well. And so when we were launching our product, we said we fit in this OPD realm. Let's try and do some more optimizations there. For us, the gap was pretty obvious. We launched a product in the OPD space. Let's call it underwriting, or let's call it a fixed cost model, where there was no OPD product as such in Pakistan. It's a lot of cash management and admin fee related sort of products. And so I think that's where the biggest gap that we saw was, and we said let's go and optimize there. Let's go and introduce a product. Let's introduce technology to make operations even more smooth line, and let's start collecting certain data points so that we can allow others to launch a product. So when we say there's no OPD product, that means there's no sort of underwriting around doctor clinic visits, lab tests, and medicine purchases. And so, as a platform, we have already captured medicine purchases in a large way down to the end consumer, and then we started focusing on doctor visits. And so now we're looking to scale that portion up. And I think that's so important. And we want everyone to be able to use this data to further optimize their insurance activities and launch new products. We'd be really excited about launching products in the OPD space. And we're looking to all the other insurance companies for help and guidance on this, because like I said, we're a tech company, and that's where our focus lies. And we need partners so that we can use what all we're collecting to further impact those populations.
It's a very comprehensive answer. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Over to you, Mr. Arsalan, on that exact question.
Well, Bilal, actually there are four major dimensions to this question. One is the regulatory body or the regulators. Second would be carriers or TPAs and we call them insurance companies as well. Then most important of it is distribution channels like agencies, brokerages, insurtechs have become a very major important part of it, and healthcare service providers. It's a bunch of actually they all make this bunch beautiful. And the most important and integral part for an insurance company is that problem with that insurance company needs to cooperate with all of these and needs to have a very good communications with all of these service lines. As far as regulator is concerned, we see a major gap in regulation. For example, they cannot insist public or the companies to have an insurance, health insurance across the board. Normally, what happens is that as there is no pressure from the SECP to the corporate sector of Pakistan and the lower than that, because of that, the companies working in private sector do not go for an insurance company. They try to avoid it. At the most, they go for the life insurance, and they think it's over game for them. Uh, the problem with insurance companies or carriers is that they are not yet prepared to be a part of a system where digitization and the modernization and new innovative thoughts should be taken in, and some innovative products be made. Still, we are thinking big. Our DNA is not changed. We are still going for big, huge companies, and we are thinking that we'll milk them like anything, and probably we make some profit. But it's other way around. The service providers and they are enjoying the other parties to it. They are enjoying they are milking insurance companies, and we are not being able to pace up with our product lines and everything. So we need to focus on that as well. Tariq Saab very rightly said that basically education is the major impediment. People would ask you ever ke ji ko haram hai ke halal hai, things like that. It's also part of it. Now alhamdulillah Takaful is here. It is addressing that point as well. But the companies need to focus, and the important thing is affinity, the integration process. Basically, the insurtechs, they are the major catalyst now in pushing insurance companies, regulators, and everybody, and getting to new vistas as well. Over to Dr.
Yeah, thank you. And over to Dr. Aswad.
Thank you very much. Digitization of insurance, I think there are two aspects. One is the corporate and other is the retail. When you talk of corporate, like as Tariq Hameed Saab said, that we need to tap that treasure trove of data which is collected by corporate health insurance. So while said Adamji, the first thing that I did was that the claims management system ICD coding was introduced, International Coding of Disease. Like every claim has to be, record has to be put into a record as per a specific ICD format or name. Like pain in stomach, some claim adjudication officer would enter it as a pain in stomach. Someone would write it as stomach irritation. There will be 10 categories or names for this. But acid peptic disease, CD125 or whatever is the ICD code is the international standard for this claim. Similarly is for a procedure, CPT, current procedure terminology, appendicectomy, API31, whatever is the CPT code, it has to be entered. Somebody will write it as appendix operation. Someone will write it appendectomy, who is from Russia, who got his MBBS from Russia. Someone will write it operation of appendix. So this is all, we go in, garbage out. Unless the health insurance corporate data is digitized via ICD and CPT, we cannot make meaningful use of that. So at corporate level, the first thing we need to do is that all the claims and authorization process need to be digitized via ICD and CPT. Only then we can make meaningful use of that data. What is the prevalence of disease? Which disease are the most costly? What are the in a certain corporate culture? What are the risk factors? What are the risk diseases? So forth and so on. Second is the retail. Now, when we talk of retail, the retail is that somebody at a palm of their hand, like let me say any insurance aggregator, smartchoice.pk, easy insurance, whatever it is, they can buy a retail insurance from their mobile phone. Now that's the concept. But why it is not successful? It is not successful because retail insurance is linked with pre-existing clause. Somebody who buys a retail insurance for 10,000, 12,000, after 2 months, if he has a claim, that claim will be rejected. Because I have been a claim manager of 3 billion rupees portfolio. I know somehow proximate cause, pre-existing disease will jump in, and ultimately that claim will be rejected in lieu of pre-existing not covered. So along with my friend Ansar, who is the head of operations in Adamji Health Insurance, 2 years back, we devised a product for, retail insurance, right? And how it works is that we had 5 to 6 diseases which were even covered under the pre-existing clause, right? So that's how it worked, that we had a moratorium of 1 month. For example, dengue at that time, acute heart disease, right? Ischemic heart disease, appendicectomy, appendicitis, laparotomy, or 1 to 2 more diseases. Now, these are the diseases, if they have a moratorium of 1 month, either the patient will survive or the patient will be diseased. So, we need to think out of the box and devise such, a policy for retail products that there is no hindrance of pre-existing clause. They can be selective, but unless we are able to offer something that has the exclusion of that covers pre-existing, only then the retail insurance can be bought via digitization, via insurance aggregators. And that product we made already. I have friends who manage claims in retail insurance products. And when I ask them, what is the hindrance? The hindrance is the pre-existing disease. So we need to act smart. We need to counter this. Only then we can promote digital, insurance. Thank you.
Thank you for that response. My follow-up question also pertains to what could be the most direct problem that people see with insurance. I mean, having been a health insurance user myself, I've never really had to use my insurance for anything because I've never gotten sick or ill or had the need to use it at a hospital setting. So I guess the question I want to ask all of you right now is, how exactly does that process work of someone actually getting sick, someone getting disease detected or diagnosed and getting treatment on insurance work. And Dr. Asfar gave an example of how Smart Choice is working as a tech startup in the retail insurance repurchasing space. And then Hyder also talked about how he's directly working with insurance companies to make it a part of his direct model for providing care. So the main question, well, there's two parts to this question. One is, how exactly does that claims process work? And where can health tech startups specifically come in to alleviate any issues in that whole process of actually getting treated via insurance, and what prospective startups can emerge in the future for this particular problem.
So who should start first?
So over to you, Dr. Hameed. Mr. Tariq, Hameed should start first as per the decorum. You're on mute.
Hello, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Okay, good. Well, I think the issue about pre-existing conditions is real. I mean, there are companies are in this business to make a bit of a profit, and with any insurance product, you will have some underwriting to be done. And the thing about insurance is that you can write a lot of business, the premium income looks good, but then it comes to haunt you down the line when the claims start rolling in. So you have to be cautious. And I think one of the sort of ideas or solutions to this is to encourage people to take on this insurance as early in their life as possible. I guess that will sort of help cover the risk of pre-existing conditions. And there are some risks which will never be insured in certain territories. And I think, like any insurance company, there is a responsibility to shareholders and to existing policyholders. So having having an pre-existing condition being excluded is a fact of life, which people have to face, unless the shareholders are willing to take the cost, because there has to be a cost to that. And if you try to calculate a premium for that, it will be quite exorbitant. So that's my view. And the other thing which I think I haven't explained very carefully or clearly in relation to the data is, it's not just the claims data, it's the patient data. When a patient calls Dr. A, discusses his thing, discusses his situation, gives his background, that should be all recorded on a database. 6 weeks later, he somehow has to call Dr. B. Then Dr. B should have access to all the information that was recorded for the first consultation. And similarly, when he has to access a specialist, that information, all that information relating to his general practitioner consultation, that should be available to the specialist. I'm not sure we are at that stage in data collection and holding data at this stage. There is also the need for protection. You have all heard about hacking, and you are probably more closer to it than I am. Not that you are involved in it, but because I'm not in the IT field, you guys are. But data can be stolen and misused. So there's a lot of protection related to it. I live in the UK, and there is the Data Protection Act in the UK, and they are very strict on that. Companies who lose data or are found to be not protecting data properly are inflicted heavy fines. Running in some cases, large companies can be fined into millions of pounds. So, and then with that sort of medical data, you then create a picture of the society and create you get opportunities when you analyze it and what additional information you can provide. Now, Dr. Asfar Malik mentioned the disease codes, and that is the right way to record claims. And I'm glad that he is involved with this initiative. Claims, there is an emotional aspect, there's a financial aspect to every claim. The issue with having everything digitalized is where is the human aspect? How easy it is for someone to talk to a claims handler. I'm not so sure how good we are on that, and we need to make sure that we don't sort of ignore that aspect of any claim. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tariq. Over to you, Hyder. Please unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry about that. So I was just saying that I'll probably end up taking another OPD focus versus the sort of IPD discussion that everyone's having here. But what we saw in Pakistan when we were looking at what is happening around OPD today, and what are the pain points, we saw extremely long turnaround times. We saw poor communication with the end claimant on what any issues with the claim. We saw a lot of paperwork misfiling and loss of paperwork, so that's the avoidance of claims. And really, when we went into these corporates that have now moved away from insurance companies, they don't understand the OPD model with insurance companies now, and they were doing it themselves. They had turnaround times of 30 to 32 days, and this is pay and claim from the end colleague or the end employee. So that was very painful. Disbursement was also by check, processed once a month. So we looked at these pain areas and we designed a solution. We said, can we shrink turnaround time from an average of 32 days down to 1 day? Can we make a disbursement instant and easy? So we leveraged a fintech platform to do that. And then we started looking at how does one file a claim? Why are they losing paperwork? How do we make it really easy to communicate with the person processing your claim? Just like Mr. Tariq was just saying, we saw value in that the person claiming should have the ability to talk with the person who's processing your claim. We don't do it over phone, we do it over chat, but everything is tagged, recorded. We do some CPD codes, like Dr. Azfar was stressing that's so important. We do tag those on our side as well, and we saw that the end colleague response was tremendous. They saw a lot of value in doing things like this rather than the traditional way where they had multi layers of HR involved. They sometimes had HR involved and then the insurance company involved who was managing funds. And it wasn't really digital. I think even today we've seen, since we've launched, we started this over 3 years ago, and obviously our systems have gotten a lot better. Our claims detection sort of automations have gotten a lot better as well. So because we processed over, I think, 120,000 claims so far, we've been able to build a lot of smartness in the system. Been able to understand, okay, why do claims get rejected, and what is that trend, and how can we identify that and make that easier for both the claimant and the person processing the claim uh, quicker in the process. And I think that's just our view of what we've learned. Obviously, everyone here has been present in this market for a lot longer, in this industry for a lot longer. But this was our just small bit of learning on the OPD side.
Thank you for that. Over to you, Mr. Arsalan.
Well, Bilal, as far as your first part is concerned regarding how companies operate, I think Dr. Asfar would put we will put light on it. I would take the second part of it, that how what are the startups and the insurtechs role in operations in insurance companies nowadays in Pakistan. Basically, the insurance company has a problem that they just think big in I mean, big numbers. They go for billions and they go for millions business. They do not understand the low ticket benefit which is being reaped by organizations like Bima. You see, uh, and that's the very reason that by not correctly understanding the nature of the tech and the people and the financial problems the people have, the low ticket catastrophe type insurances, and these are the only area which would bring result in numbers. Otherwise, if we will go for the other path, that will take another 10 years to get ourselves to a right number. Secondly, the tech companies and affinities, they are basically the drivers nowadays. People like Hyder, people like Dr. Azfar from Hayaat, they've been doing, and same with you from Sehat, they are doing wonderful job. They are pushing us like anything. Previously, we thought that if we have implemented an ERP solution, that's enough. We don't need anything else. But now ERP is an important part, but integration through APIs, following the text they are running around, and understanding the nature of millennials, because basically millennials are basic, and Generation X and Generation Z, they are in bulge in Pakistan, and in coming days they'll be real market, and we need to focus on them. And they are the people who cannot comprehend that why our claim is being paid in 20 days. You see, then that's why the insurtechs and companies like that, they are producing correct APIs, they are connecting, integrating with organizations. That has pushed us a lot, and we are now into digitization, but we're late, we are lagging behind. Carriers normally are lagged behind internationally even, and insurtechs take the first step, bold steps. You see, uh, well, I would like Dr. Asfar to put light on it, because he is the right person for this question as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Please proceed, Dr. Aswar.
Okay, so thank you. I would like to carry forward from Mr. Tariq Hameed Saab's regarding the pre-existing. Definitely, the insurance companies are not there for a loss. And as far as I remember, I think in 1975 or 1976 in Geneva, the consortium of insurance companies, health insurance companies gathered, and then the pre-existing clause was incepted. My point was that if, like, let's take an example, a car catches fire or car had an accident, the person has no right to go to an insurance company and say, please insure my car and get this repaired. My point was that the insurance underwriters need to collaborate with clinical doctors. Like, I am a doctor myself and I had been doing underwriting as well. Now we need to think outside the box, other than conventional parameters and boundaries of underwriting, to incept and execute smart underwriting, which would at one point curtail the risk of pre-existing, but also promote digital buying of retail health insurance. I will just give one example. Let's say you start a product and you add five diseases in it. and at the bottom of the policy paper, you say there is no such clause as pre-existing. Now we had 5 diseases: accident, acute appendicitis, acute abdomen, dengue, corona. Let's switch it to 5 and 6, ischemic heart disease. And like maternity underwriting, we add a moratorium of 1 month. It is very popular that in certain underwriting clauses for maternity, we add a moratorium period of 9 months so that we make sure that somebody who is buying this product is not pregnant, right? This is a very common practice. So if we introduce such a product, let's say at a premium of 1,000 per year or 2,000 per year, and there's a moratorium of 1 month. Now this 1 month moratorium will ensure the risk of pre-existing damage, the pre-existing loss occurrence, because out of these 6 diseases, if somebody today catches corona and there's a moratorium of 1 month, so we'll make sure that somebody who buys the insurance today doesn't has corona. That's our point as underwriter. So he will not survive for 1 month. So within that 1 month period, all of these 6 diseases would either the patient would survive and no longer be needing the insurance, or the patient will be deceased, unfortunately. Allah forgives. So my point is, we need to sit down and we need to, collect, and we need to brainstorm smart underwriting in collaboration with clinical doctors. Pasha sir, what was your point of view? Sorry, I didn't get the last what you wanted me to shed light upon. Please, can you reiterate?
My last point was that basically insurance companies cannot comprehend the insured as the market size which is in which we are working, like low ticket items like Bima is doing, like you are doing, like other InsurTechs are doing business, and they're producing new markets, and they're accessing new markets for the insurance industry.
So, sir, that is in relation that we cannot tap the retail. Bima is tapping the retail market. That's your point. They are so successful. I went to their office, thanks to Murtaza Khalil. I was surprised, 800 call agents and more than 50 doctors were sitting. It's a huge network, 3 stories building. They are tapping the retail market, but they can tap retail market 100 times more if we counter this pre-existing clause. Because just go to the street and ask any layman, वो कहेंगे इंश्योरेंस वाले क्लेम पे नहीं कर दे, पैसे ले लेंदे ने, जब क्लेम दी बारी आंदी क्लेम पे नहीं कर दे. This is the reality. Please go and do any survey in every street of Pakistan. Everybody will say a claim पे नहीं कर दे, कहंदे ने covered नहीं. ये taboo है. This is a taboo on insurance industry, on health insurance industry. We spend all the marketing, we spend everything selling the insurance, and at the bottom there is pre-existing not covered. So when a claim comes, it's a bad mouth for our credibility. We need to make smart products, especially for retail. And why Bima is successful? They have per night coverage. Like they have curtailed their risks. They are not emphasizing so much on pre-existing or something, because they know the patient will stay for 5 nights or 6 nights. We just have to pay 5,000 per night and 10,000 per night, whatever it is, the category. So they have curtailed their risk, and probably at claim adjudication or approval level. So that pre-existing clause, like if this claim is approved, I have to pay 4 lakh, that risk is covered. So my point is, we need to, like everybody has fear of corona today. I would suggest the underwriters to devise a smart health policy for COVID-19, which would have a two-pronged policy. One is that it would give benefit to the patient by, like he knows that God forbid if he gets corona, the insurance company is there to give him cover. But the insurance company also needs to safeguard their risk that he doesn't buy policy after he catches corona, right? That is the risk. So we need to do some smart writing. If I will buy the policy for corona at 2,000 or 3,000 or whatever it is, even at 10,000, if I am assured that I'll get the treatment. So I mean that is my point, that we need to sit together with clinical faculty, with clinical doctors and the underwriters to devise something smart to tap the retail market. 0.9, 0.6% insurance utilization in Pakistan is due to because retail market is not there. Corporate in Pakistan, unfortunately, they are not that strong. We are not a thriving economy at the moment. Let's be realistic. The corporates are having a difficult task to pay for insurance premiums. So we need to focus on retail market. A common driver, a common carpenter pays 70 rupees for cigarettes in Pakistan, right? So it's 2,500 per month. And I think as far as I know, any good product can be managed between an annual premium of 10 to 20,000 or 30,000, provided we play smart and safeguard our. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that very comprehensive reply. So we're now coming towards the end of the session. And the final question I'd like to ask each and every one of you is what digitized health insurance will do for Pakistan in the future.
Again, it will contribute towards the economy of Pakistan. Like we have 24 crore people here in Pakistan. If we are even able to tap 2% of that via retail, I'm only saying 2% or 3%. Imagine the premium, imagine the economic activity, imagine the job supply, the doctors, the medical staff, the claim adjudication staff, the underwriters. Imagine the growth, what we have today at 0.6%, and what if we are able to make it to 3%, 4%, just by, playing smart with our underwriting policies, with our underwriting out of the box thinking. That is my point. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with some of the things that Dr. Azfar said about if you just tweak the products and tweak the methodology of the products, they can work really well with the digital environment. I mean, don't think about underwriting the whole medical case, underwrite a per day of the medical case. And I guess what that will mean for everyone is, and we've seen this trend in all sorts of market, it means last minute buying, it means on demand buying. जब मुझे ज़रूरत है तो तब मैं उसी वक्त ही ले सकता हूँ within 2 minutes from my phone. And I think there's a lot of power in that, right? And if we just recognize that power, we can work backwards and design some products that are meant for those sort of use cases. I realize I need this now. I'm willing to buy it now. I have the phone now to buy it. But what do I buy? And I think that is a strong gap that Dr. Asfar highlighted. There are not enough interesting solutions you can buy right now.
This is what Food Panda and Uber Kareem are getting. We are willing to pay 30 rupees delivery fee, even that we are sure that a burger will come in 30 minutes. So if the retail customer knows that if I'm paying 2,000 or 3,000 for a particular product, at the end of the day, I will not be getting a rejection that this is pre-existing, this is that. He has the peace of mind that at a click of his mobile, whatever he is paying for, at the end of the day, he will get the claim if whatever is the policy moratorium period or whatever it is waived off. So I think you are very rightfully saying that once the customer gets the assurance that he'll get the value for his money within time, turnaround time, the product will succeed. Right now, if I buy something from Smart Choice or something, a retail, I'm not sure if I get sick, I will get the claim. Let's be very honest, because I don't know the modalities, if it falls under pre-existing, if I'm entitled to it, that and that. So I think you are very right in it.
I think, as I said earlier on, it's easier to write a business. It's much more difficult to make money or make a profit out of this business. And so when I used to work in Saudi Arabia, I mean, people used to say that one way to lose money is to go into health insurance. But those were different days. That was in the mid-80s. Things have moved forward quite a lot. There's a lot of digitalization. However, there are certain basic principles of business in that sense. I'm not trying to uh, sort of teach you something, but just expressing my view. And that is, you have to take into account the risks at the time of underwriting. These things come to haunt you along the road. Maybe 6 months' time, maybe 2 years' time. And you need to have sufficient financial reserves to cover those risks. And that means either restricting the cover or charging enough premium. As far as digitalization is concerned, I think in Pakistan, the use of the mobile phone is very extensive now. And are people getting messages relating to health insurance? I don't know. I'm not there. I do have a Pakistani SIM and it's in my phone. So I do get messages about extra deals from the provider companies, phone provider companies. But are people getting messages about health insurance, about managing their health? There is a cost to it, and who bears the cost? That has to be looked into as well. But I guess once those messages, each message you send creates, there's also a subliminal effect on it. People, it leaves a thought in the mind that there is something out there, and at the the flame is kindled at some stage based on that thought. Uh, are we sort of educating our people? I mean, when I was in Canada, it was in the mid to late 90s. We were insurance companies were holding this mass sessions. But things have moved on. Are we making use of this mobile phone facility to get messages across to people? I'm not so sure. So, frankly speaking, I don't know. Um, just a few thoughts here, rambling thoughts.
Well, my worthy colleagues have said wonderful things about it, and it is the right approach. Basically, digitization of health insurance and as a whole health system would produce wonders. There's no doubt in it. And the catalyst of change would be people like Daksa from Hayat, like you from Sehat, like Hyder, because Hyder is insisting on something which basically, whenever I go to my underwriter, he doesn't understand. You see, he's saying that let's join hands, start OPD as a start product, and we'll work on it. And this is the and at first, whenever you want to change something, you encounter a lot of pressures everywhere. It is transformation is never easy. You see, people don't understand. For example, my younger brother, I'm in my 40s, and my younger brother is in 30s. He asked me, भाई मैंने गाड़ी इंश्योरेंस करनी है, बंदा नहीं भेजना मेरी तरफ. You see, and he was asking that if you can make some arrangement online. I don't want to encounter any insurance wala. I mean, this was very something which is out of world for me, because we have been doing business in corporate center and we in corporate world, and we are doing it with the going to people, calling them up, and making an arrangement our leads, and then doing business. But the size in Pakistan rests in digitization. If we want to increase the numbers, if we want to increase the facilities, we need to have customer centric approach, and we need to understand a fabric of our society, which Bima has understood, with Hayat is going to understand it, and all of you are basically doing working on it, and we are in pursuit of that as well as an insurance company. But we face internal and external pressures. The problem is people don't open, the companies do not open for the text. Whenever you go as an insurtech to a company and ask that, would you please take my integrate my API, or you can give me an API, so I should integrate your ERP with that, and you will certainly have a shock of your life. like you have done something very wrong, because they don't understand it. That what does this means? Like in our company, basically we have got our own software house as well. Our team is well equipped. People like Easy Pesa, Smart Choice, they usually enjoy working with us because we accept their APIs, we integrate with them. They can access right from their computers, from their websites, portals. They can access us. So we need to give a congenial atmosphere as an insurer, enabling environment to the companies, and then underwriters have underwriters must learn new techniques, what's happening around the world, what is happening around digitization in health techs, what are the health services centers like hospitals, like medicine industry, medical pharmacies, what they are doing, what is being implemented. The main impediment which we would face would be a cyber security kind of risk. Like of course, when data is involved, the data security is also there. It is, but it doesn't mean that we should not embrace the change. We'll go for that. Similarly, the point Dr. Saab has raised, that regarding the pre-existing, it is my concern as well, because I've been advocating. It is a situation like hen and egg. When you go and persuade your management that we need to implement something, they says what is the numbers, and numbers are not there because traction is not there. And when you give a new product to the market, it will be tested over there, people would come in, join in, and then there would be a snowball effect, and that snowball effect would help everybody. That's from my side.
Arslan bhai, I would just like to
But
add one thing. Like you said that your brother said that the insurance agent shouldn't come to see the car. Let's take the example of Policy Bazaar India. I will share
yes,
the
yes,
statistics, the success of
yes,
Policy Bazaar.
of
Policy
course.
Bazaar has transactions 2,50,000 per month. Policy deals that they expedite. The second is that they are a yearly revenue of 1,800 crore. Policy Bazaar India, the online insurance aggregator. They have more than 1,000 call agents per hour, and they have more than 100 million queries over the phone in 2017. 100 million means 2,73 queries a day, 11,000 queries an hour. Now, this is the power of digitization. We are
Exactly.
nowhere near it. And why? Just give it one example. If you go, I could not unfortunately log in because I don't have an Indian SIM, but I got the due diligence. They have an online camera for the car insurance. Once you
Yes.
log into the app, you can just put the live camera on, and the interested customer can view his car online with the chassis number and all that stuff and all the 3D images live, and that video goes to the server, and the insurance agent wouldn't come. Now this is the success of digitization. One
Doctor,
digital.
let me intrude. Let me intrude. We've got the same arrangement, but our management is yet to be convinced that we need to do it. You see, we've
Please
got
share
wonderful
the
teams. They
statistics
have
on
developed.
Policy Bazaar. I will share my
In,
book with you, and I have one article on Policy Bazaar with this
yes.
success model. So
Thank you
please
so
give them.
much. We're just 2 minutes before the end. So thank you everybody for being a part of the panel. I think we had a very fruitful discussion from all areas of insurance, from people who work directly in the center to reinsurance brokers, to Heather who's working in the health tech space, and to Mr. Tariq Hameed, who's got such a vast experience in finance in general. And I liked how you mentioned Smart Choice quite a bit. I've actually known Saptan Javani for the past 7 years. I've known him since he was just starting out at the Nest IO in Karachi, and it's great to see how far he's come. So thank you all for coming, and hopefully we can all collaborate in these different matters.
Thank you very much, Bilal, and thank you to the whole panel.
It was
Ladies
very
and
nice
gentlemen,
meeting all of you virtually, and hope to meet all of you in person whenever COVID allows.
right.
Same
Thank you,
here.
Thank
Hyder.
you. Thank you.
Kind of
All
you.
the best.
Thank you very
All the
much.
best.
Thank you for inviting.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We've got a lot more coming up.